You ever find yourself in a moment so ridiculous, so charged with unfairness, that your first reaction isn't to fight back, it's just to laugh? Because if you don't, you'll probably lose it. That's where I was, staring at the ceiling of an airplane, three security guys practically hauling me down the aisle, my dignity trailing somewhere behind me. And the whole time, all I could think was I paid for this damn seat. You know what I mean? Phones were out, recording, faces looking away or straight through me, except for this one old lady clutching her purse like she could somehow will the world to do the right thing. "That boy did nothing wrong," she said, voice shaking but defiant. And that one line, honest to God, meant more than any apology I'd get for months. Let me back up a sec. I'm Marcus Williams. And yeah, my dad is Richard Williams, CEO of Meridian Airlines. But that day on Flight 2187, I wasn't anybody's legacy. I was just a 17-year-old black kid, riding solo in economy, trying to see what the world felt like without my dad's name for a shield. Maybe I should have known better, but I wanted it real, you know? No VIP check-in, no "yes, mister Williams, can I get you a drink?" Just me, my backpack, and a basic economy ticket to Chicago. That morning, everything was about legacy. My room full of aviation posters, a silver-framed photo of my mom, college applications fanned across my desk, MIT, Stanford, Howard expectations so loud you could hear him in the silence. My mom, Diane, texted, "Can't wait to see you, baby." I left behind the first-class world expensive watch swapped for a digital Timex, designer bag traded for something ordinary, and yeah, a little flutter of nerves because I knew what I was signing up for. Or I thought I did. The bus ride was humbling. Mrs. Jenkins, our housekeeper since forever, fussing at me for not letting her drive. On the bus, I met this old dude, Jim Preston, maintenance crew for American Airlines. He recognized the name Meridian, me dad's legend, but I kept it quiet. Just Marcus, regular kid, no baggage, well, except the literal kind. That's the thing about flying incognito. You see how people look at you, how assumptions stack up, and you get a taste of what's real outside your bubble. At the airport, I watched the ritual of boarding, people clutching their status like armor. There was a CNN segment about the airline industry, my dad's face on screen talking about dignity, and I couldn't help but wonder, does any of this stuff mean anything if it's not tested at the bottom rung? I was zone 4, last aboard, no lounge, no perks. I spotted a mom juggling twin boys, an entitled businessman demanding his platinum perks, and this old lady knitting quietly by the window. Her name was Martha, and she'd end up matching more than I could imagine. Once on board, it was cramped, real economy living backpack, barely fitting, middle seat hell, but I told myself, you wanted this. Martha smiled. "First time flying?" I grinned. "First time in economy, ma'am." Across the aisle, a businessman opened his laptop, elbows everywhere, and I felt every bit of my dad's world slip off me. Then, the tension built. The flight was oversold, and the crew started looking for someone to bump. You could feel the discomfort, like everyone knew what was coming, but hoped it wouldn't be them. That's when Claire, the senior flight attendant, and her trainee, Bina, showed up at my row, professional smiles barely hiding their stress. "I'm sorry, sir. You'll have to take a later flight," Claire said, eyes already sliding away. Martha jumped in. "Why him?" But they ignored her. I'd read the airline's policy, knew my rights. You can't do this after I'm seated, unless you ask for volunteers first. That just made things worse. Suddenly, I wasn't just a kid in the wrong seat. I was a problem, challenging authority, threatening the delicate order. "Sir, you need to comply." I started recording, not to go viral, but to protect myself. That's when things went off the rails. Security arrived, 3 of them, all business. "Put the phone down. You're interfering with crew instructions." I tried to stay calm, quoting policy, try not to let the humiliation swallow me. They grabbed my arms, lifted me up, and dragged me out, and my last act was to call my dad. "It's happening again." The line went dead as they confiscated my phone. Now, here's the twist you don't see coming. My dad, the guy whose name unlocks every door, was in a boardroom downtown, hearing his son get dragged off the very airline he built on promises of dignity and diversity. He shut down the meeting, emergency protocol in play, car to the airport, phones blazing. While I sat in a dingy security office, furious and defeated, the suits suddenly realized who I was, panic flickering across their faces. But my dad's first move wasn't to pull rank, it was to listen, to demand answers, to make sure this didn't get swept under the rug. He stormed onto the plane, called out the crew, addressed the whole cabin. This young man is my son. But what happened today could have happened to anyone, and that's the real problem. Refunds, apologies, policy promise, it all sounded good. But I wondered, would it mean anything the next time someone like me flies without a famous name? Martha found me after, gentle as always. Your father's a good man, she said, and I nodded. But it shouldn't take a CEO's intervention to be treated like a human being. On the flight to Chicago, something wild happened. Passengers who'd said nothing before started apologizing, admitting they froze, that it was all so fast that they wished they'd done more. Even the captain stopped me on the way out, eyes full of regret. It wasn't right. What happened? He said. I told him, just make sure your apologies are for everyone, not just the CEO's kid. Back home, my mom hugged me tight, asked all the questions, her surgeon's eyes checking for wounds she couldn't see. You know, she said, your dad used to fly coach on purpose just to see what needed fixing. Now it's your turn. That stuck with me. Media storm, hashtags, Meridian shame trending, PR statements, and suddenly I was a symbol, something I never wanted. My dad asked me to help fix the system, to join a new task force, not as the boss's son, but as someone who'd lived the failure. The flight attendant who'd had me kicked off, Claire, came to my dad's office, expecting to be fired. Instead, he told her, I want you to help build the solution. Firing you won't fix the system. She cried, promised to do better, and I believed her. That's how you start real change, not by finding scapegoats, but by making everyone part of the solution. Months later, we stood on stage Togatherm, my dad, Claire, Martha, launching new policies, new training, new promises. Reporters asked if I thought it would last, if I worried I was just a shield for Meridian's reputation. If they wanted a shield, they picked the wrong guy, I said. I'm here to make sure it's real. But here's the kicker, would anything have changed if I wasn't Richard Williams' son? If I was just another black teen, dragged off a plane for being in the wrong seat at the wrong time? My dad and I talk about that a lot. The answer's not pretty. That's why this fight isn't over. Not for me, not for anyone watching. Because real change takes more than headlines, it takes witnesses speaking up, companies following through, and all of us refusing to let silence be the easy option. So, let me ask you, have you ever seen someone treated unfairly, and did you say something? Or did you freeze, like most people do? Drop your thoughts below. Because the only way any of this means anything is if we keep the conversation going one voice at a time.